What is going on, Savages? Thanks for tuning in again. I just got done streaming about an hour ago, but I hope you guys are doing awesome, guys and gals. I'm doing fine, thanks for asking and all that stuff. We've been covering Ryo all week, which has been kind of cool. You know, every night we've been learning a little bit more about the project, about all the different features and stuff like that. And tonight we're going to look at an incredible new feature that's implemented on the latest Atom wallet, Ryo Wallet Atom, version 1.3.1, and that is solo mining. Super cool. This is the first and only Kryptonite-based solo mining feature or capability on the whole planet. So I think that's kind of cool. So this is going to be a blast. Let's get to it. And for the wallet video, we basically covered every aspect of the wallet. And if you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel, which is on the screen right here. I try to live stream at least once every weeknight. Sometimes I get 2 streams in, like tonight. Sometimes 3. It just depends on what's going on. And you'll also want to follow me on Twitter to make sure that you stay up to speed with what's going on the channel. I tweet about crypto over there, and I also keep followers updated on what's going on the YouTube channel. I'm trying to only use these 2 platforms to keep it simple and be accessible to followers and viewers, but I'm also on Discord and hit that up sometimes. This solo mining video assumes that you already have the wallet installed and running and everything configured. So just keep that in mind, that we're going from a point of this right here where we already have the wallet installed and everything up and running. It also needs to be synced, so you should see ready down here in the bottom right hand corner, and you should see the wallet section here will go to 100 if you open up the wallet. But as far as the daemon is concerned, we're 100% synced, so this should work really well. So it's all synced up and everything's good to go. Now, some benefits of solo mining are that there are no fees, right? Because you're using your own pool. So there's no fees associated with the pool other than electricity. So you have to run this on an asset. Now, if you are mining on the same asset that you're running the pool, then hey, you're good to go. But if you, like in my case, I have a Windows machine here that I'm going to run the pool on, and then a rig that is going to be attaching to the pool. Now, normal scenario here, I would probably have this Windows machine powered off at night, or once I'm done with it, I might power it off. But in this case, if I'm running the pool, then I have to actually leave it, right? Leave it up and running. So there is a little bit of a cost there. It just depends on your personal configuration or your local configuration of your network and how things are working on your end, where you're running the pool at, as to whether or not there's actually a fee. But the pool itself doesn't have a fee. It's also scam free, so there's no like hash rate theft. You don't have to worry about the pool going down. You manage your own pool. You don't have to worry about your hash rate being stolen and transitioned over to a different coin, some of it taken to mine a different coin. There's all kinds of different things you can do on the pool side. So, if you don't, there's a lot of reputable pools out there. I'm not saying that they're all bad. I'm just saying that it does happen, right? Where there's a little bit of skimming, hash rate skimming and things like that. So you don't have to worry about that with a local pool. There's also a lot of really great information on this website right here for Ryo. This is hanging off of their website. I believe you can get to it from there. But it's a solo dash pool getting started. All right, so this is a help site for solo mining. It is, I posted the link over there. So this can basically walk through everything. You can figure out everything from this website. Super cool. A lot of good information, walks you through, and that's basically what we're going to be doing. So let's get to it. Let's go back to the wallet, and what we're going to do first is we are going to create a new wallet specifically for solo mining. So let's do that. And we did this last night as well. So we'll call this wallet Shubi Solo. Sounds good to me. We're not going to put a password on it just so I don't have to keep typing it in. I mean, I could put a short one, but you know, if you're going to be doing this in real life, then definitely put a complex password on there. So we're going to click create. It's going to tell you, hey, you know, because we have that selected, that we want to be warned if we have a weak password or whatever. So I'm going to choose continue here, just because we're just trying to get through it, right? But remember that you're going to be super careful, you know, if this is really what you're doing, if you're really minded to this. And also, this is important. I'm going to go ahead and document the seed words. What I would do if this was a real wallet that I was going to be using, I would, you know, document this on an external drive, a thumb drive, some way, write it down on a piece of paper, whatever. But you basically want to get it off of this computer, and you don't really want, like, there's even malicious software that what I just did, I copied this to the clipboard. It can actually grab that, right? Malicious software can. So the best way is to not even use the copy button, but to actually just write them down on a piece of paper. 6-1 is Rumble, and then junk. Yep. So see how it went to open wallet? That actually highlighted down here, so now I can actually open it. All right, so now I have a wallet that we're going to use to actually mine to solo mine to. All right, so let's grab this address. I'm just going to document it real quick here. I don't know, we'll need it later for sure, but I just want to make sure I have it. I'm going to document all this real quick. I just have a text file over here that I'm putting it into. All right, so now we have the wallet that we're going to actually mine to. So we're going to go to the Shubi Solo wallet. Doesn't have a password. I'm just going to click open on it. And then we're going to go to the hamburger up here. This is what this little thing is called. Right here. Let me get rid of this in the back. Clean this up a little bit. All right. Click on the hamburger. Go to solo mining. Then we're going to be on the dashboard right here. And there's no information. There's no hash rate or anything like that on here because we haven't started yet, right? So we're just going to look at this, kind of look at the cool information that we're going to be provided with. Kind of neat. We're going to check enable solo mining because that's what we're trying to do. And then we're also going to check privately share hash rate. And what this does is basically, if you think about it, what's happening, you're attaching to the, not attaching, you're participating in the blockchain just like a pool participates in a blockchain. So if you actually mine a block or your hash rate isn't computed in the overall network hash rate for the pool or for the overall network hash rate, then your information, your blocks and your hash rate are going to show up as, what's the terminology for that? It'll show up as unknown. Like if you go to miningpoolstats.stream, it'll show up, you see over here where the blocks in the last 100, there's 6 unknown. Then that might be because they're solo mining and they're not providing that information to the network, right? So, you know, sometimes you'll see that. You'll see hash rate, there'll be a certain percentage that'll be unknown. And in order to prevent that, you would go ahead and choose to privately share your hash rate. And if you read about it, there's nothing bad going on here. It's basically helping, you know, document the actual hash rate of the network. So it's actually not a bad thing. It also gives you the capability of using the web-based solo pool blocks interface over here, so you can see worker statistics over here. The only way that this is actually enabled is if that is enabled in the wallet. If privately share hash rate is enabled, it's checked right here, then you can actually use this feature where you can see those statistics on the solo mining website, right? All right, so the next thing we're going to do, and we'll get into that in just more in a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to choose the mining address. So we don't want to mine to mining because remember we created our own for this effort, and it's called Shubi Solo. So we're going to choose that. That's the wallet that we're going to solo mine to, and we just created it, right? And for bind IP, now this is important because if you are if you're mining from outside of your network to this pool, like let's say you've got a remote rig or you've got a remote setup and you need to get through your firewall and your router and all that stuff for your local area network, then you would choose all interfaces as the IP address here. And the port, what you'll have to do is you'll have to forward port 3333 in this case, unless you change it, because you can change it. But you would have to forward that to your IP address in your router, right? But in this case, because we want to only do local area network, so all interfaces is like a broadcast, right? Local area network is, okay, the miner, the asset doing the mining, and the pool are both on the same network. And in this case, it is. So I'm going to choose local area network, and this is the local IP address of my machine, right? So this is where the pool exists. Then you could, if you're like a power user and you want to really get into the weeds and do some cool config with difficulty and things like that, you can click on var diff settings, and there's some information in here. It talks about what's going on. You can provide a starting difficulty, you can enable it and all that stuff. So it doesn't affect how many blocks you find or anything like that. It's just how your rig is actually configured and where the difficulty starts. I'm going to leave that to default and just click OK there. Then you're going to click Apply Settings. Now, one thing you got to note here, it says pool status not ready. And you might be like, well, wait a minute, why is it not ready? Well, because you haven't clicked Apply, you haven't enabled it and clicked Apply. And you got to remember that you have to have, I got to reiterate this again, you have to have a fully synced local wallet in order to do this. You can't be using that remote node only. It has to be either one of those first two choices, the local plus remote or local only, in order to do this, because you have to have the blockchain files fully synced before you can participate on the network with a pool, right? It has to be fully synced, because think about what you're doing. You're adding blocks, potentially adding blocks to the network. You can't do that if you're not synced with the network, right? So it's kind of obvious, but I would like to point that out. All right, so let's click on Apply Settings. It says over here, waiting for daemon. It knows that now it's fully synced. It checked to see if it's fully synced. So now you see pool status is ready. And we start filling in some information up here, the overall network hash rate, network difficulty, blockchain height, and so it knows what's going on. And if you want to verify your height, you could just move over to the mining pool's stats.stream and check. So it's 292.459. If we go, where is it? Right here. 292.456 is what this is showing. So it's actually, your wallet is a little bit ahead, which is fine. So we know that we're synced and we're good to go. And that is it for setting up the pool. So now the pool is running. It's sitting here waiting on a worker to attach, right? I think so if we go to workers, I think this is the next thing that we probably should do. I do want to point out, if you were mining and running the pool on the same machine, like let's say you've got a Windows machine that's also what you're going to be mining from, then you could choose local machine only. This is the home address, basically the address of this machine. Also, so this is local machine. So you could choose this if the miner and the pool are on the same machine. So you could choose that. In my case, I've got a rig over there that I'm going to be connecting to this pool. So I'm going to do local network only, because the pool and the rig are two different things, two different assets with two different IPs. So we're going to click on workers up here, and then that actually tells you right down here There's not much going on, obviously, because I don't have the rig up and running yet and configured. But it tells you point your miner to, and then it gives you the IP address and the port. Right? So I'm just going to copy that. I mean, I can remember it too, but I'm going to copy it just in case. Paste it into the little worksheet over here. All right, and then also they have example configurations for XMR Stack. Now this is if you're using the pools.txt. So I think that we are actually ready to throw a worker at this, throw a rig at it. I'll use Hive OS. I'm going to use the NVIDIA rig. I think it's actually the AMD rig's a little bit quieter, I think. Yeah, let's use the AMD rig. All right, so in Hive OS, if you're using Hive OS, then we would create a new wallet, do Ryo, and some of this is not really going to matter because you're local mining, or you're mining on your local area network to solo mining to a pool. But I do think that we're going to have to do this for Hive OS to work. So I'm going to paste in the address that we're mining to and give it a name. We'll say Ryo Solo. All right, and then create. And then we're going to do a new flight sheet. Type in the ticker, Ryo, select the wallet, Solo, and then the pool. Now this is important because we're not going to use any of these pools because we're using our own pool. So we're going to go configure a miner and then select the miner. We're going to use XMR-Stak and then set up config. Let me get my camera off of here so that I can not cover up stuff. All right, so the miner fork, we're going to use Fire Ice. We're going to use the latest version. All right, the wallet and worker template. I think that this is where this part doesn't really matter. So it'll look like that. And then the password, we'll put X. Not going to worry about the config overrides just yet. We can mess with that in a few minutes. I just want to start seeing the rig first. So we're going to click apply there. I'll check the chat in just a moment to see if I've made any silly mistakes here. Just give it a name. Create the flight sheet. The template field name is required. What did I miss? Does it have to have this maybe? We'll do wallet. Yep. So that field in Hive OS, it looks like that field is required no matter what. It wouldn't accept this. But because we put the wallet in there, we can use this variable, right? Because we created the wallet file and all that. If we didn't create the wallet file, you could just paste in here the actual address that you're mining to, and it'll be fine too. But we did create a wallet and everything, so that should be good. All right. Then now we can go to workers. We're going to choose the AMD rig. I think we do already have. Yeah, we had messed with this before, so it's already got a cryptonight-gpu settings here, our default settings. We'll see what happens whenever it fires up, but it might actually work pretty well. So we put a check mark here. It looks like I do need to do an upgrade, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. I'm going to click the little rocket here and then choose Ryo. And this is the flight sheet that we just created. I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to click apply. So now the rig is assigned that flight sheet, but it's still off. So let's turn the rig on. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, that looks pretty clean, right? I did a lot of fine tuning on the video settings, so it actually turned out pretty well. And I can tell just by looking at this that it's working. So if we come back over here to, you can see the pool logged in, you can see the IP address that it was logged into. So I'm going to come over here and go refresh as well. I hear it firing up. It's going to get loud in here maybe. But it does show hash rate for the worker, 1.7K, 2K. And then if we look at the actual miner itself, you can see that there's accepted shares. Everything looks good over there. Difficulty is adjusting, going up a little bit. Okay, yeah, I'm probably, like I was thinking, I'm probably just being a little bit impatient with it. In workers, it's over time, it'll start showing up in here as well. I'll let it rock for a little bit. If you want to see the worker statistics in the online, the web-based solo mining dashboard, which is basically very similar to the one that you're looking at in the wallet itself, right? It looks very similar. But if you want to do this, you have to put the wallet address in here. And then the private view key. So you would have to get that view key from your wallet. And remember, you would never show this to someone other than you, right? So this is extremely private information. And see, it warns you right here. Be careful who you send that to, because they'll control your funds. All right, so close that. And we're going to come over here and paste that in here. I'll click remember me just for the heck of it, and then check stats. So I don't know how long this takes to actually update. It says up here loading may take a few minutes. So we should see fairly similar information in here as the actual desktop wallet, Atom. So that is super cool. I love the interface. I love how they've synchronized it and made it look the same. Right, I like that. I like that feature of user interfaces or user experience whenever it looks the same. Right, you don't have to learn. If you use the web-based one, you don't have to learn a whole new thing. Okay, so you have to actually find a block before it actually shows up. What we've done here is a success. I mean, we're mining. We're definitely submitting shares. We're doing. You can see it on the rig itself that everything's working fine. So I am pretty happy about this. I think we're good. And as far as the stream goes, I think that's going to be it. We are successfully solo mining. Everything looks good. Yeah, that was pretty interesting and easy. That was pretty easy. Not a lot of hiccups. Everything went pretty smooth.